couple years ago, my son had some friends at school, and they were living in a house. They pretty much trashed it. The landlord said, "Get the hell out," and signed something that said he wouldn't go after him. He just wanted him gone, and they left. About 3 weeks later, they get a bill for $30,000, supported by a contractor's invoice, and the owner says, "This is all the damage you did to the house. I expect you to pay for it." And they're freaking out because it's a lot of money. So they call me, and the first thing I do is I ask for the lease. And they sent it to me, and I said, "You all didn't read the lease ever, did you?" And they're like, "Well, not really." I said, "No, it wasn't not really. It was like not at all. I mean, you didn't, right? You signed right through your doc. You signed it, and it was a pain in the ass, and you just kind of signed it, and you didn't think it would come back to bite you in it, did you?" "Well, yeah, that's kind of what happened." I said, "Well, okay, you know what? A lot of the answers usually lie in the lease. So let's take a look to see whether the arguments he's making for why you owe him $30,000 have legs." So I took a look and I read it, and believe it or not, there's a lot of really good stuff in the landlord's own lease that worked against him. I'll give you one example, for instance. When the leasing agent was over there to take a look at the condition of the place, she saw a cat running around. And there was a provision in the lease that said no pets. If you have a pet, it's $150 a month pet charge. And they'd been there for like 3 months, so on this invoice there was a $450 charge for a pet being present. Well, what I said in my letter response to the landlord, along with a bunch of other stuff related to the longer list of charges, I said, "Hey, listen, as it concerns the pet, you don't know whose cat that was. You don't know that the cat had been there for 3 months, much less 3 days, much less 3 minutes. You don't even know if it belonged to any of the guys. Maybe it was a wildcat that made its way in. You have the burden of proof. It's your job to prove this case, to prove that that cat was there for 3 months, which qualifies you for those damages, and you can't do it because you have nothing to go on other than inference and innuendo and suspicion and all that stuff." So I put all that sort of stuff in this letter, the cat example, and other things about what the landlord was supposed to have fixed himself and what the kids were responsible for. And by the time I was done, I said, "And you know what? When you add it all up, you actually owe the guys $632. Well, I never heard back from the landlord. Neither did the guys. Fast forward like maybe another month or month and a half, I get in Zillow just to play around to see what's going on with the property, and I see that the whole thing is totally renovated. It's been really fixed up, looks great, and the guy had just sold it for $2 million. It was in Washington, D.C. $2 million. He wanted the guys to underwrite his rehab work to get the place ready to sell. So my point is, read your leases, know you have rights, know you don't have to sit there and take it, don't have a victim mentality. If you're proactive and assertive, and you actually look the part because you are the part, because you've seen the lease and you know what it says and what they can and can't do, you're going to have a much better leg to stand on, because you know what? Someone like me isn't going to be there to bail you out. And you got to be able to really employ a little bit of self-help. And it comes from a place of knowledge and empowerment. And that comes from reading your documents, starting with your contracts every time.